Welcome back to the Don't Worry About It podcast, where we talk all things mental health related, from anxiety to depression, from happiness to sadness, and all emotions and feelings in between. For those who are new to the podcast and don't know, my name is David Izzo, and I started this podcast to help facilitate a conversation around mental health. I've struggled with it in my own life, and I felt like now was the time to start this podcast, give a platform to the people who are open enough or vulnerable enough to come on and share their story and to share their beliefs. On today's episode, I invited Bennett Deutsch, aka Pace Rush, onto the platform. Bennett has been rapping for 8 years now, and his music can be found on Spotify and Apple. If you're into rap, if you're not into rap, check it out. It's pretty good stuff. On a related note, I appreciate everybody for listening to the past few episodes. If you've missed some of them, I highly recommend going back into the catalog and checking out. Each one has real crucial insights, and really there's a lot to learn. I want to give a shout out to Noam for coming on last week and really opening up, and his story was really incredible. If you haven't listened to it yet, check it out. Without further ado, Bennett Deutsch. Bennett, welcome to the Don't Worry About It podcast.
Thanks. What's up? Thank you, David. Don't worry about it.
Bennett, for the audience, can you please introduce yourself?
Who am I? All right, I'm Bennett Deutsch. I'm a big brother. I'm a son. I'm a nephew. I'm a friend, and I'm an artist. Pace Rush. I'm just another person.
Just another person.
I'm just another person, man, in this human experience with you, and I'm happy to be on your podcast talking about mental health. I think it's something that people might think, oh, it doesn't apply to me. But it applies to everyone because we all have brains and we all have perception and we all think about things different ways. So why not? Why not me?
Right. Well, this happened for those who don't know. This Bennett and I actually met each other, which sounds crazy to say, like, I don't know, 18 years ago at this point, something like that.
Yeah.
Back in we went on the same Passover program when we were little tykes back then, 6, 7 years old, just playing hoops. We had the time of our lives, and we go on this program for a few years, and then we kind of lost touch. But through Facebook, I've been able to still follow you. And when I took this podcast public, you commented at a post, and you talked about what we're going to talk about on this podcast. A lot about was so interesting. You talked about being your own best friend, and that's such a interesting topic to me because it's like I feel like I'm the opposite of it. I haven't never been my own best friend. And you commented, you wrote such a nice post.
Cool.
And I literally wrote, like, come on, like, if you're interested, like, come on the podcast. And Bennett put his money where his post was, and he said, I'm coming on. So thanks so much. I'm so happy.
I'm grateful for the platform, man. I'm proud of you for doing this.
I appreciate it.
You got it, man. You got it. Hey, speaking about Facebook, I just want to talk about social media. Can I kick this off? Do you mind?
Platform's yours, my friend.
Woo, I love that. Okay, so social media, a lot of us turn on the screen and we'll just say Instagram's fake. It's just a highlight reel. Man, I haven't seen this person in so long. They only post when they travel or when they get something new or when it's a birthday. That's not all of life. And we'll kind of feel like we know what people are up to, but we don't always know the thinking behind it. There have been times, I'll speak only from my own experience. And hopefully some people could relate because, like I said, I'm just a person. Sometimes there have been times where I've done really cool things, but I would be the only person that knows the thinking behind it. Maybe I went on a trip and I was really excited to post a picture of me traveling. But maybe I went on the trip because I was so freaking, I felt like I had to get away because I couldn't take one more day of doing the same shit again. Maybe that's why. Maybe I went to a certain place or I went to this awesome restaurant and I post the good food, but maybe it's because I don't know how to cook or I don't have a kitchen. Maybe like we don't know why people are doing what they're doing and we only see things. So even though it's awesome, it might not actually be a highlight reel of the way that we think it is. So I wouldn't discredit anything we see. And the reason why I commented on your post and I loved it so much is because you remember what you said, David? I'm sure you do.
Yeah, I put a lot of thought. And
It was
I
your
chose my
coming
words
out
very
introduction.
carefully.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you said, I'll say it because this is how I took it and it's how I remember it. You said, guys, I struggle with mental health issues myself, and it's been in my family for a while. I've been wanting to make a podcast, and I finally did it. Here are the first handful of episodes, and I'm really excited. And boom, you put it out there. You said you were kind of nervous, you were kind of excited. You've been wanting to do it for a while, and you put yourself out there. And I saw that, and I, as someone who makes music, as someone who is on my own path, as someone who knows what it means to do something when you don't have to. This right away is not making money. I don't know if it is, but right, you did it for the
not
goodness.
for the record. For the record, not $1. We're not doing ads yet.
Yeah,
Don't worry about
yeah.
it. We're pure content.
Okay, but that's what it is. Anyone who puts out content, anyone who shares, anyone who updates on Waze, the traffic app, anyone who does anything just to put stuff out there is in my opinion a patriot and a good civilian. There's no need. None of your it takes time, it takes effort, it takes being vulnerable to be a creator, and it takes belief. So I praise you and your vision. I'm happy that I'm very happy. So listen, this is what I commented. You told me you like what I commented. I said that a lot of people might feel like they're alone in mental health. A lot of people might feel like people might not fully understand them. A lot of people feel they feel like they know that they're not alone, and they know that things happen to other people, but the people in their immediate circle all seem to be okay. And everyone, when they then go on their phone screen and they scroll, everyone seems to be doing well. And they even might feel like they don't have their real friends to really talk to in a moment about how they're really feeling, because they don't want their friends to be worried, or for them to remember them talking about such a dark time. Even though, because tomorrow when you get depressed, it's depression is it's overwhelming. It's a real thing. A lot of people say these words, right, dude? Like, a lot of people say these words, they just throw them out, like, oh, I was so depressed, or I'm so anxious. But these are real things, right? Like, depression's a feeling that just takes over. You could be in school, in class, you could be at home watching TV, you could be out at a party, you could be getting dressed, ready to go out, and then you could be at the table with your family, and then something just comes over, and you don't know what it is, you can't pinpoint it, but it's just like everything's getting sucked out of you, kind of, and you don't want to do this, but you don't want to do that. And I don't want to watch TV, I don't want to hear music, but I also don't want silence, and I don't want to go inside, but I don't want to go outside. It's just it's a place of just like helplessness, kind of. So for anyone who really knows what depression is, who didn't know what depression is, and thank God, like, you figured out ways to keep looking forward to things in life, and you're in a better situation, or you met someone who just brings the best out of you, and whatever it is, like, i think that I think that and what I commented on your post was that the people who really feel alone, everybody feels the same stuff, but those who feel alone are just, that means the people around you might not be strong enough or willing enough to admit that they're also going through things, because we all feel stuff. We all have physical health, even if we're not going to the gym, or we don't have a six pack, or we don't go running, or we don't do physical activities. We're physical. Like, you could touch us. We're people. So our health could be good health, it could be bad health, but it's health no matter how you look at it. And the same thing for mental health. You could Everyone has mental health. It's Now it's a subject. Now it's a thing that people are talking about. So it's really cool that you made this podcast. It's really cool that you made this platform, and I'm humbled that you wanted to have me on it. But it's anyone who's listening, just because they're your friend or they're my friend, or they're just coming across this because we're viral, whatever it is, if we're listening right now, then we're just people in the room talking. We're just people, and we're sharing our human experience. That's it. That's it. It's all mental health. It all ties in. So thank you for having me, David.
Of course. It's interesting. You brought up a lot there that I want to get into in terms of, depression's a very interesting thing because it's something that you hear more and more of people saying they're depressed, and I don't want to tell anybody how they feel, but there's a difference between depression and sadness.
Yeah.
There's a huge difference. I can feel sad, but in terms of depression, it's an extended period of time. I mean, I don't know if it's still the case, but I remember when I was learning about it in psychology class, I've experienced it, but I didn't know that's what it was. When you have extended, right? You have more days in a 2 week period that you were like sad and you couldn't. And when you break out sad, like what is sad? You couldn't get out of bed.
Wait, that's how you define it? It's more than 2 days?
How I define it is different. But from the DSM-5, which is the Bible of psychology, however people want to talk about whether they agree with it or don't agree with it, it's an extended period of sadness. Extended period of sadness where you're sad for an extended period of time. Right? It's not I'm depressed. You can't. I personally don't think depression is a one-day activity. It's not I'm fine one day and I'm sad the next. It's an extent. It has to be like over an extended period of time where you're more sad than not most days.
Yeah, I hear that.
That's because listen, I think there's also become a part where people, it's easier to just to say you're depressed than to be sad, because when you say you're sad, well, what are you sad about? Or it's like, what are you depressed about? It's easier to just say I'm depressed. And then when you say depressed, like it's not necessarily I'm depressed about something, which is so true when you're depressed. It's like, it may not be specifically one thing. It can be a combination of a lot of things. But if it's like, right, if you have a real tragedy in your life, right, you lose someone, there's a death in your family, there's something that you're just sad about. It doesn't mean you're depressed about it. You can be sad without being depressed. It's not one's better than the other. They're just completely different.
Yeah, I think what you're saying is like sometimes the sadness will come to a point where you no longer even care to like help get yourself out of it. You don't want to like take your hands and like show you the light at the end of the tunnel. And that point of giving up is depressing. Like that's super sad. It's like when we get to that point, for whatever reason, of like not even wanting to try to help ourselves, that's when a lot of people, I feel like, could get confused. That's the fine line. You know, when you cross that line of not even caring to help yourself and letting yourself just keep falling, that's like when people might think that they're depressed. But I've been depressed. I'm a happy dude. I'm a happy kid. I've grown to be a happy young man. I'm very fortunate. I'm very, very fortunate. And that doesn't mean that I've never gone through things that are unfortunate or terrible. But I'm fortunate because I know that life is great. And I know that it's all up to my attitude. And I know that it's that no matter what, I know that there's love out there. So even if right now I'm not feeling it, I know that tomorrow's a new day, and I know that I've seen the light. I know that I felt good before, so I know I could feel good again. So if I get to that point of like, oh man, like now it's depressing because I've been sad and I don't even care to help myself anymore, then I'll just pinpoint that. I'll say, now I don't care, man. I don't care. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. I want to stay in my bed. I want to do that. But that's not depression. Depression is like you're trying, you want it to be better, but you just don't know, and it's like overwhelming, and you feel like no one could relate and you're stuck. That's depression. That's real depression when you can't help it.
And what was the time in your life where you felt depressed?
I would say something, but I know my parents are gonna hear this, so I don't want to. After Ultra. No, I felt depressed after in high school. There were periods of time, in college, really just the parts of my life, it would just come and go. I went to a therapist just to. I was diagnosed. I get depressed. Like it's fine. But thank God, like since I found music, since I really got into music, I'm a rapper. I'm Pace Rush. By the way, everyone go check out Pace Rush music everywhere you listen to music, Spotify, Apple, SoundCloud, whatever. Um, but but ever since I found music, there are just I feel like there's so much potential and untapped potential in my life that that I'm just so excited. I'm so excited. I sometimes it's hard to go to sleep because I'm excited about life, and thank God I'm not in that point. But there are some days where it feels like nothing's panning out, and it feels like what's it going to be for me? You know, my friends are getting married, and I'm at a point where I haven't been saving my money the way I should, and I feel like I'm already indebted, and I have to buy. There are things that like I can't afford to do. Like, how could I even think about having a family now? There are certain times I feel that way. There's just different times, but I just learn to the way that I help myself with everything is this. I tell myself that is what it is. It's not bigger than that. I just don't have enough money right now. Boom.
And I want to get to a
Yeah.
place and I want to work to get to the place where I can have that thing so I can do the other things.
Yeah. If I'm always out there and I'm trying to if if this was the situation, if I'm someone who always wanted to be in a relationship and I'm going on dates and I'm trying to meet the right woman, I'm trying to meet like someone who I connect with, someone who I help elevate, and I want to, with all the things going on in my life, that I want to stop everything. I want to join her on her journey, and I want her to join me on mine. If that's my goal and I'm going on dates and I'm just not connecting, then you know what? I'm trying. And if I know that I really am trying, and I'm not just saying I'm going on dates, I'm trying, but if I know that I really am, then I can't even let myself get depressed about that, because you know what? It's just not happening now for a reason. So, and if I put myself in a position where I have a large friend group, and then I realize that in certain situations people disappoint me, I'm not going to look at it. I'm talking, this part is from personal experience. I didn't let myself view it as I chose the wrong friends. I look at it as, you know, I have Elliot, I have David, I have Matthew, I have my brothers, I have my parents, I have my sister, I have my aunt, I have people who I would live for, and I who I just want to show what I could do. That their friend is awesome, and that if they want to do something awesome, they could do something awesome, cuz cuz we rock. That's motivating for me on a daily basis. I just want to be I, I I don't let myself get down about things that I can't control. If I have a line in a song, and Vibrations, it's the second song I put out from the whole 365 song every day. Vibrations. It's in the second verse. The second verse finishes with, "I lost faith in some people, but those were their choices." And
Well,
that's true, because it's not my fault. It's not my fault. If I realize like people just want to hang out so we could go to a party, or people just want to hang out to play basketball, or if people just want to hang out to go to the gym, like whatever. But if I have a real issue, like I can't count on them, then you know what? That's fine. Those are my basketball friends. Those are my party friends. Then I start deciding, do I need just basketball friends? Do I need just party friends? Like I know that if I have a moment where I need someone for something, like honestly, it, do I have that? We have to audit our lives. You know what I mean? And not get down about what we don't have. We I just like to focus on the stuff that I do have, because I'm so lucky. I'm so blessed.
100%. I mean, you just gave me, it's like it's not their fault. You just reminded me. I don't know. First thing came to mind was Good Will Hunting. Robin Williams to Matt Damon when he's talking about it, and Robin Williams just goes, "It's not your fault." And he kept saying it over and over again until Matt Damon clicked in Matt Damon's head. He finally broke down and he finally understood that what happened in his. It just it wasn't his fault. There's nothing he could have done about what happened in his job. There's just certain things that's just not. It's not. There's certain things you can't control, and it's not your fault if they don't go your way. You can only control what you can control. But if you do, and if once you accept that and understand that, and you don't take it as, oh, life's not in my hands, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
What is in my? It's about what is in what can I control today? What can I do today to best set myself up for?
Yeah, and that's something that I deal with daily. Is I have all right. I have. I'm so lucky. I'm so lucky. I have the music. I love recording music. Um, I went from recording a new song every single day, putting it out, like making a real product, putting it out there. And then the next day when I drive around, I put on Spotify and I'm on Spotify. How cool is that? I could play a song, sing with it, be happy, and my voice is the same voice as the one that's playing through the speakers. How cool is that? Like, I, I I look forward to that so much. So I love making music, but I also know that making music is not the whole thing. Like I need people to hear it so I could get the feedback that I want, and I could make an impact like I want, and I could. So there's networking involved. There's all this stuff that I'm nervous about, and I get insecure when it comes to because I over talk or I don't know. I'm confident in me and my energy, but I feel like when I send an email, I'll write 5 paragraphs instead of like one sentence. That's so I never sent the email. And it's been 5 years. It's been before I did 365. I put out maybe 15 songs over the course of 4 years. And then I went, boom, I put out a song every single day. I made the song on the day of, and it just helped me. It was a challenge. I looked at it as like I have nothing to lose. I'm putting myself in a spot where if I do this, I stand out because everyone's trying to thinks that they're a rapper. When people tell me, I love it. I love when people say like, I rap too, or like my friend's a rapper, or like stuff like that. Like that's awesome, but we're different, and we're different because I believe that I'm different. That's it. That's it. And I'm not comparing to anyone. They're them, but they're not me. They can't do what I could do. I can't do what they could do. But this is what I'm going to do in my life. That's because there's no way that I can't. I know I've never felt as I've never felt so connected with like the special like a feeling in my I get butterflies in my stomach whenever I get butterflies in my stomach on a daily basis. It feels like I'm doing what I'm meant to be. And every time I touch the microphone, every time I finish the song, it never comes out the way I want it to. I have such ADHD. I have such like there's so much that I want to say and want to do, and I still haven't done it even after 365 days in a row, 365 tracks after everything. Like the song, I don't believe that my best work's out there. I've yet to do it, but I know that I've come such a long way, and I know that like it might not be it for me, but this is my path, and it will take me to the next spot. I haven't done a live performance in over 3 years. I haven't done the networking like I'm supposed to. I don't have the connections that I need yet. I post a song, and I think I get like 100 plays or 15 plays or like within the first day. Like I don't have enough ears on it yet. So when people might say like, so what are you going to do? Like, seriously, you know how hard it is to be an artist? Like, I haven't done the work yet. So I'm not worried about it because I haven't gotten the feedback that I need yet to believe that anything's anything. Like, I just know what I'm capable of, and I know that this is real. So all the other stuff, I just take full responsibility for everything. And the stuff that I can't control, I know that I can't control it. But my attitude, that's up to me.
100%. One become their own friend.
Well, I'm 26 years old, so I can't act like I have all the answers, and I'm still learning myself the same way in any relationship. You just keep learning the more that you're with someone. But the same way that I can't have the answers, I know that a 40-year-old can't have the answers, and I know that an 80-year-old can't have the answers, and I know that a 10-year-old doesn't have the answers. So we're all just learning ourselves, and the way that I am my own friend is when I look in the mirror, I say, "What's up?" I throw a peace sign. I'm like, I compliment myself. The the way I put myself together today is nice. I like my smile. My teeth are white. I'm lucky. I have dimples. But then I realized those things I didn't have any control over. I was gifted this. I'm lucky. And then I tell myself, like, you're awesome. You're lucky. You're cool. You're the one. Like I tell myself, imagine DJ Khaled talking to his son. Assad, you the king. Like all this stuff. That's how I am with myself. I'm just like, I'm so lucky. And when I allow myself to mess up, I don't judge myself if I do something wrong. I don't I don't expect myself to do everything right, and I don't expect myself to get everything done in a specific time. I'll give you a good example. I would always go to the gym in like high school age. I would always go to the gym. Then there was a point where I didn't go to the gym one day. And I said, "Oh man, like I missed the gym. I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow." Then the next day came and I was lazy. And I said, "Oh man, I didn't go to the gym." Boom. A week passes by. I was annoyed at myself because I didn't go to the gym for a week. Then I realized after the next week and I didn't go to the gym again, I would just tell myself, like, Bennett, come on, what are you doing? You're not going to the gym. I would be down on myself. Then I realized, look, I'm clearly not going to the gym now. Why am I going to keep bringing this up, like disappointing myself? I'm not going to the gym now, and I rocked it. I don't go to the gym right now. That's it. I'll go. I'll go again. I care to go, but right now I'm just not going to the gym. Like there are other things, and that's no problem because I'm not judging myself. Look, if everyone loves to say I want to be, I'm my own best friend. I know me the best. I love me so much. I'm this. I'm that. Well, that's amazing to think it, but when it comes down to the moment, like if I was excited to wear a certain shirt when I'm getting dressed to go out, and I put on the shirt, I'm ready to go. Before I go, I check the mirror. I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh, this shirt doesn't go so well with my pants. And I change my shirt. And then I put on a new shirt. And now because I already changed my shirt, I'm like, oh, maybe I put on another one. And then I go from wearing button downs to now wearing a t-shirt. And I'm totally in a different outfit than I wanted to wear. If but I wanted to wear that. If I was walking out the door and I didn't second guess myself, but on the way out, my mom says, change your shirt, like you look whatever, I'll be like, that's so rude. You're gonna tell me that you're gonna ruin like my self-confidence, you're gonna tell me whatever. Everyone's entitled to their opinions, but with me and myself, like why would I be that person? If I wouldn't like when other people do things to me, why would I do that to myself? And that's how I'm my own friend. I allow myself to do what I want, and I allow myself to mess up, and I allow myself to feel, and I don't judge me for feeling a certain way. If I feel like I'm supposed to feel guilty about something, or if I feel like I'm supposed to be happy about something or excited about something and I'm not, then that's fine. I just realized, like, in this moment for this exact thing, I wasn't so excited. Or in this moment, I thought I would be smooth, but I'm actually really nervous. And I don't judge myself on it. I'm just observing like a friend.
Well, it's interesting, and there's a lot. I mean, I think there's a lot in there that I'm interested in and exploring. One of them is the part right when you're getting dressed. I know it's happened for me. Like you pick out an outfit that you're like, oh, I like the shirt with this pants. It's gonna rock with the shoes I got, and you're feeling good about it. It may not actually look good, but if you think it looks good, then you feel good. And if you feel good, you feel confident. And if you're confident, then you're going to feel. You're probably gonna have a good night. But
Dave, isn't that what
maybe
everything's about? You go off
Yeah, but
feeling.
I think there's also a part of it where but also isn't it a job of a friend if they think you look, if you're not going to tell yourself, maybe it doesn't look good and it doesn't, people are, you're not going to look good. So you have like those friends that can feel honest with you, that can tell you.
Yeah, some people are honest and they're helpful. And then some people are honest, but they're really just miserable people. And then they say that they're honest. Oh,
for
don't blame
sure.
me. I'm just honest. So be honest with yourself in that. Which one
No,
are
for
you?
sure. But I think maybe I'm not
Which one?
explaining myself clear. But I want to take that a little further. Right? You're you
It's good to
being
be
real with
real with
yourself. So
ourselves.
you think you look good, but then your friend tells you you don't. You know, it doesn't. It's not a good look for you tonight, or it's not good. You can either take that one of two ways, right? You could say, like you were saying earlier, like who are you? That's rude. Or you can also appreciate that person saying that you've at least maybe shared the same. You've created a space where you two can be honest, where that person can feel comfortable telling you, I don't think it's for you tonight. But that can also, but that can for sure
Oh,
shatter
for
your.
sure, for sure, for sure. There's certain occasions like if you're going on a date and you're going out with the same it's your girlfriend for a year or for a few months and you're comfortable with each other and you go on a date and she gets all dressed up, she's so excited to go out, and you get dressed up, I feel good, right? But I'm wearing my Adidas sweatpants and my white sneakers, and I'm looking cool. I like the way I look. I feel really good. I feel comfortable. I feel smooth. But if she tells me like, "Come on, Bennett, like I'm wearing heels. Like you should. I can you wear loafers next time? Can you whatever?" That's not hurting my feeling. I don't have feelings to hurt like that. Like she's just telling me what she envisions. Like this is a mature date. Like if that's what she envisions, that doesn't hurt my ego. I'll look good no matter what. You know what I mean? Like I'll put on the loafers if I'm feeling like it next time. I hear what you're saying. I appreciate it. There's a certain time for everything, a time and a place, and that's fine.
No, I hear that.
So be that's how I am with myself too. Like there's a time and place for everything, but sometimes you do things because you want to, and sometimes you do things because you feel you should. But there it's okay to do both, and there's a time and a place for everything.
Yeah, I see
I
this,
agree.
but
I
when
agree.
I'm thinking this theory, I see the brilliance in it. I see how it can work, but maybe it's just the way I'm trained. I see the pitfalls. I see where it can take you down. Right? When you brought up, right? People like the most common thing everybody likes to say that, right? I'm not mean. I'm honest. I'm just being. People hide behind being real. People real,
I
and
love it.
I've caught myself doing it. Like I've like said something shitty to someone, or like, but like, yo, I'm just trying to be real. I'm trying to be honest. I don't think anybody knows what real even is anymore. I'm not even.
Well, let's okay, this is how you know. This is exactly how you know. Did you feel shitty after that, or did you feel okay after you gave your
I
opinion?
felt certain times I felt like shit because I feel like I was just being a dick, and there are other times where I
So it wasn't real. That's what real is. It wasn't real to you because you wouldn't second guess it. You wouldn't think that you should have done
no,
something
but
else.
I'm
That
second
wasn't
guessing
real.
the fact that I may still agree with my opinion, but maybe I wasn't the one taking the other person's feelings into account. What's the is it
Yeah, but there's a time and a place. Not
for sure?
everybody needs your opinion all the time. Not everyone needs my opinion. If I'm going somewhere, if look, I'll give you an example. This is home for me, okay? My dad runs his own business. My dad is an attorney. He goes to work in shorts. He likes to wear shorts. His shirt is loose, like he doesn't tuck in, but he runs his own business. He's most of the time he's on the phone. If he goes to court, he'll wear a suit. My dad could do anything he wants, and he could do no wrong in my eyes. But obviously, my mom tells him like, David, put on some pants. Like we rip on him sometimes, like or we used to like you don't ever wear pants to work, like whatever. But you know what? If that's what he wants to do, like who's to tell him anything? It's his business. If he wants to hear the stuff that we're saying for the reasons we're saying, then that's his choice. But you could do whatever you want. Okay, now you're going out on a date. My mom and dad are going out on a date. So if she says like, "Come on, don't you're not wearing shorts right now. Like wear something more put together." He goes and he puts it on. But when it's him and it doesn't affect anyone, and people could have their own opinions, but you got to be confident and cool enough to do whatever you want to do.
I'm really interested because I'm trying to figure out the best way to real life applications for myself because I've been thinking about the I don't think I've ever summed it up as being your own best friend because I think that I think false confidence works to an extent, but I don't know if this is really false confidence. I think this is an authentic way to accept.
It's so authentic. It's so authentic. What I realized is this: in college, in high school, um, I really realize it now more than ever with everything. You meet certain people. You can meet certain people at synagogue. You can meet people out and about. You could just all be at the same place. If I'm at a club, if I'm at a nightclub, and there are people who come from downtown Miami, from neighborhoods where, they run all cash businesses, or if you come from upper class, and you're there wearing a Rolex, if however you came, whoever you are outside of the club, it doesn't matter. You know what the thing is? We all chose to go out tonight. We all chose to have a good time, and we're all here having fun to the same music with the same intention to let loose, to forget, kind of to separate from where we were before, and to enjoy ourselves. So how, if I'm at a club, who am I to be judging someone else? Who am I? We're just there. We're all at the club together. If I'm making fun of someone, how could I couldn't even do it. How could I?
I mean, I
We're
think
all
who
at
am
the
I
same
is a
place.
very good question to ask yourself, for people to ask themselves constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm about. Who am I? And I told you this the first time we spoke, David. Um I covered up my mirrors for a year. I covered up my mirrors for a full year.
So before you, I want to dig into this. What caused you to 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 close out your mirrors, to shade them up?
Yeah, I put a towel over my mirrors in my bedroom and in my bathroom. I had two mirrors there. Not that I avoided looking at myself. If I'm downstairs, if I'm somewhere else and I want to look in the mirror, I look in the mirror. But in my bedroom, where I'm supposed to feel the most at home, where it's my room, where it's my territory, and it's just for me to relax. If I'm going to brush my teeth and I wake up in the morning or it's nighttime, I'm brushing my teeth. I went into the bathroom so I could brush my teeth. I didn't go there so I could look in the mirror and be like, oh, I didn't even realize I have a pimple on my forehead. I didn't go there to comb my hair. I didn't go there to look at to point out things. I went there just to brush my teeth. So when I stand in front of the sink, if I want to look at me when I want to look at me. The same way with my friends, like we call each other when we have something to say. We call each other to share moments. We call each other. We're with each other when we want. There's healthy space in every relationship. You can't just suffocate people. That's how you fade or feel distant, or you don't give each other a chance to really learn what it's like to be without each other, or to appreciate each other more when you see each other. So with myself, I realized, like, when I'm recording music, I was recording music, and I would always be talking about me, me, me. I want this. I want that. I this. Look at this. But who am I? I'm just trying to figure myself out. That's what the whole draw to music was for me, and what I love so much about it. I was learning myself through it, and I still am. I'm learning myself through everything in life. But if I'm trying to figure myself out, why am I'm rambling. I just realized that when I'm looking, I'm not my body. That's the bottom line. I'm not my face. I'm not my face. You know what? If God forbid I'm not here, or when that not God forbid, when that time comes, my body's gonna go in the ground, but my soul is gonna go to heaven. I hope. That'll be who I am. So my whole life, I just want to learn who I am, and who I am is my soul. It's my brain. When we're talking right now, for everyone who's listening to this podcast, David, everyone who's listening, no matter what they're doing, this is a meeting. You and I, these are two brains talking. These are two experiences. These are two human experiences talking, learning, sharing. Not our bodies, not what we look like. You hear music on the radio, you hear what you like, and then you're like, oh, I wonder what that person looks like. And then you go find them on the internet, see what they look like. But you're not, why are we so I don't want to be caught up in who I think I am because I have a nice smile, because I God chose to make me the way that he did. But my soul, that's my piece of him. That is the ability to be holy. I want to explore that. I want to learn that. And that's what will help me be one of
So
the greatest artists. The greatest artist that I can be. That's what will help me. The greatest person I can be. I realize that I'm not my body. I am my soul, and everyone else is their soul too. And we all have the ability to connect that way. Like, let's not get lost in the covers. Let's learn who the book is.
wow, there's a lot there to unpack. I want to start going back to the beginning in terms of, deciding to cover up the mirror. That's, for me, that feels like a real inflection point in your life where you.
Ask
So
me what you
you
want to ask me.
decide what was going on. Like, how did you notice? Did you notice something that was going on?
I noticed that I was spending too much time looking at myself. I noticed that I'm trying to I'm looking. It's post high school, mid college. I'm looking for jobs. I don't have a resume. Um, I'm trying to learn who I am. I go to work as a waiter. I go to work at Starbucks. I'm on my feet all day. Um I'm trying to work. I'm working hard. But I'm making $10 an hour. And at the end of the week, if I work maximum hours, 40 hours, however much they let me, the max hours, that's $400. Dude, that's $1,600 a month. And I work so hard for it. And I'm so grateful. But how much can I really get with $1,600 a month? I can't even, there's no luxuries in that. That's like just paying the bills. And then I can't save with that. How could I do anything? And then I realized, like, but what else is there? Like, I feel like I'm special. I feel like I'm worthy of better stuff. But who the hell am I? Like, what have I done to make me qualify for something better? Like, I'm working hard now, and I'm going to work, and I'm working with people who are 15 years older than me, who are the same age as me. They have kids. They have other responsibilities, and I'm here. I'm blessed for the opportunity to work. Like, thank God. Like, I'm living in America. I'm a free person. I chose to do this. I'm healthy. I could work, and I'm busting
Bennett,
my ass,
Bennett,
and
Bennett, 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 Bennett.
I'm not
What
making enough money.
does this have to do with you pushing out your mirror?
This has to do with it because I'm going to work, and I feel like, why not me? Like, I feel like I'm different than these people, but I'm doing all the same stuff, and I'm technically working in like the lowest part of the world, not the lowest, but like the most minimum salary. And then I realized, like, I just look at me as Bennett when I see who I am, when I see my face, when I see my body. But that's the same as when I'm looking at everyone else here. So when I cover my mirror, that was a conscious choice because I wanted to learn who I am, not let what I've done define me. Once I know who I am, then I can know what I want, and I can know what I want to do, and I could present myself hopefully the best way in moments, because this is who I am. It's my heart, it's my mind, it's where I'm
It's
going.
interesting that you picked blocking out a mirror because I think there are many avenues you can go without doing it. I mean, I'll speak from my own experience in terms of mirrors. I think there's a lot of people who have, would want to block out their mirrors because when they look in the mirror, they don't like what they see. They don't like what they see physically. They may not like what's represented in the mirror. Like a mirror is right. A mirror is supposed to reflect back what's in front of it. The problem is with humans, perception versus reality. What we perceive ourselves as what's shown in the mirror is not necessarily 100% what other people see. I just heard this the other day and I was blown away by it. There's a majority of people,
Tell
if
me.
they were to somehow, right, there was a picture of themselves, so another person was walking down that looked exactly like them, they would not recognize that person. Wouldn't be able to make make the connection that person is who they are, because what they see when they look at themselves in the mirror or in a picture is so far different than what they actually look like.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. And you just maybe sparked like the hugest
Go.
revelation to me.
Tell me what you're thinking.
I saw my mom beat cancer twice. I saw her go from having long hair, a smile, joy of everything, to being stripped of all of her like human things that we take for granted, not being able to come and go as she pleases, um, no hair on her head. But you know what? I realize right now, the reason maybe why I wanted to do that was because I saw my mom one way, one day, and then God does what he wants. Life has its plan. And my mom was still the same woman inside, but she looked very different. So I felt very different when I was with her. I was more sensitive. I was more careful. I had a different appreciation. I thought differently because of the way she looked. But inside, it only amplified all of her strengths. It made her look at all of her weaknesses. It made her, she was focused on other things. We were focused on other things because of the way she looked. So I guess when I cover my mirror, or if I don't want to judge myself by the way that I look, it's like I think I maybe noticed that with her. Like I had such respect for her once her look changed and I learned who she was. When her look changed, I really learned who my mom was. She is someone who puts other people ahead of her, who has strength and determination, who's a warrior, and who puts her love of her family ahead of even herself. And that's love and caring at its finest. And that's who my mom is. So when I see myself, I don't want to see Bennett as the person that I've grown to be. I love me. Honestly, I'm saying this humbly. Like I love myself so much and I'm so proud of myself and I'm so fortunate. And thank God, like I'm a handsome guy. I'm and even when I was in my chubby phase as a kid, like even no matter what, I always looked at myself and I was positive. And I would say like there are things by next year at this time I'm gonna have a 6-pack. And 15 years went by and I every pace off, every Passover, I still never had the 6-pack. And you know what I realized? I was like, you know what? I'm just not working for the 6-pack. I haven't been doing push-ups. I haven't been doing sit-ups. Like, why would I just get the 6-pack? I'm not gonna be mad at myself. Like, I'm just not doing it. But I love the way I don't have to cover my mirrors because I'm insecure about the way I look. People call me handsome. People like my smile. I like my smile. It doesn't matter what people say, you know. But I guess the reason when I cover my mirror, it's because I didn't really know who I was yet, and I'm still learning. But you know what the biggest distraction for me is when I have a good thought and I want to say it and I'll pull out my phone and I'll say it on selfie mode, and right when I see myself, I'm just like I see a young man, I see a kid, I see someone who I don't know anything. I'm learning. Like today's a brand new day. Like what experience do I have to make me the one to say it? But if I just hear my voice, then I'm hearing a thought, then I'm hearing feeling, then I'm hearing it. But when it's such a distraction for me to see the mirror because I'm still figuring it out.
It's so interesting because I'm like the complete opposite. I know like that they're like this is such a weird like dynamic. Like for me to take out my own phone and like put it on selfie mode and to talk to myself is like on its surface like terrifying to me. Like I like I've had times where I've had trouble just my in my bathroom there's a mirror. If I go to brush my teeth, I'm looking at myself in the mirror. If I go to the bathroom, I'm looking at myself in the mirror. I shower to get in and out of the shower. Their mirror's right there, so I'm forced to look at myself so many times. And like there are a lot of times if I'm feeling down, like it'll actually be like a springboard of even more. It can be a springboard of even more negativity. I could already be feeling low, and I'll look at myself in the mirror and not like what I see back. I think that's a big thing that
Yeah.
people have, and the truth of the matter is, what mirrors really do show is the perception that you have of yourself. If you're feeling shitty about yourself, listen, I don't want to say speak for everybody, but I think a lot of people have this moment right before they're going out. They're feeling right there, whatever they're doing, looking at themselves in the mirror, they're putting on their outfit, they're messing around with their hair, they're cleaning themselves up real nice. And there's a time where you're feeling good. You're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're like hyping yourself up, like I look good, tonight. Like that confidence is real, but it's all you've done. What's
Yeah.
changed? You put on different clothes. You've maybe changed your hair a little bit or done whatever you needed to do, what's changed, but nothing's really changed from when you looked at yourself the previous day when you were feeling low. It's all about your perception, how you viewed yourself. The mirror is supposed to show what's in
100%.
front of it, but they're two different. The mirror can show you so many different things, and at the end of the day, the mirror shows you. And I think this is a real come full circle from the beginning of the topic of being your own friend. The mirror can show you
Yeah,
your best
100%.
friend, but the mirror can also show you your biggest enemy, because you can be your own biggest
100%.
enemy. And at the end of the day, it always brings me back to one of my favorite movie scenes in all movies. I love movies so much, and the movie Creed. If anybody's seen it, I hope you know this scene. If you haven't, watch it. Just Google YouTube this scene. It's a scene where Rocky Balboa and Adonis Creed right in front of the mirror, and he's training for a big fight, and he's looking in the mirror. He's got his fist up, like not knowing what's going on. And Rocky instructs him to look in the mirror, and he says, "That's who." He goes, "That you see that guy staring back at you? That's your toughest
That's who
opponent."
you're fighting.
He goes, "I believe that's true in the ring, and I think that's true in life." When I watched that movie, I watched it on my computer. I hit pause, and my mind was blown. I spent the entire night thinking about that scene, because what he goes on to do is, right, he throws a punch in the mirror, and what does he see coming back at him? Himself punching at him. So he says, "You throw a punch and you move, because that person, you're going to throw your punches back at you, and you end up fighting yourself. But what you can also do, right, to beat yourself, to be one step faster, because you know your mind, that's a big part of anxiety, and a big part of that rumination of negative thoughts that goes on. It's yourself. It's throwing punches at you. It's trying to knock you down. It's trying to go at you. It wants to hurt. It's trying to tear you down. It's trying to beat you. But if you're one step ahead and you learn how to actually become a partner with that voice in your head, that you can use that voice, the same engine that chugs out those negative thoughts can be flipped. Because if it can shoot out negative thoughts, then the opposite should be true. It can shoot out positive thoughts. And if you can train it to shoot out those positive thoughts, now we're cooking. Now I can now maybe I can really have a healthy relationship with myself. Maybe even if I'm lucky, I can one day become my own best friend.
100%. And I want to feed off what you're saying because I love it. If you saw that movie, you saw it at the right time. You saw it at the point where you paused when you heard something that you liked because you felt it. But if you saw that movie a few years ago, maybe you wouldn't have paused. Maybe it wouldn't have meant something to you. So it really is all about the timing and seeing what you want to see, and not even, we don't always know what we're looking for, but just to be open enough to get something when it comes to us, and we're lucky enough to get it, and then telling ourselves how lucky and blessed we are, the fact that we could get that. I think a lot of times we might think that there are own thoughts in our head, but maybe there are parents' thoughts, maybe there are friends' thoughts, maybe somebody's told us, you're so athletic, you're so smart, you're so creative, you're so this, but you feel like you're not so athletic because you went to Top Golf and you try to golf, and you literally are so uncoordinated, but you could play basketball or something like that. So then you start telling yourself how you're actually not as athletic as you thought. It's whatever you believe, that's what it is. And when we're ready to look in the mirror and we're ready to not care if we have a pimple, to not care if our chests look more like man boobs than pecs, if we don't care because we know why we have what we have, and if we believe that things could change, then why are we going to be our enemy? Why are we going to be the one judging ourselves when we look in the mirror? If we would be annoyed, if we would feel hurt for someone else pointing out certain things about us, why are we going to be the ones to point those things out in ourselves? Because that's not being nice to. That's If I do that to myself, that's not nice. That's not nice.
I forgot you mentioned, when I saw that movie, and I that movie's been so powerful in my life, but I even when I speak about it, I share that with friends who come to me and are having trouble, and I tell them about the mirror. My friends will make fun. I don't know, they'll make fun of me, but I'm sure if they're listening, when they're listening and they hear this, they go, I can't believe it took them this long to talk about mirrors, because I've got like theories on mirrors. Like I could talk about mirrors all day. I'm fascinated by them and what they can do. But I remember watching that movie and pausing that scene. That was a time in my life. That was, I believe it was October 2015, 2016. I was October 2016, I was really in a real bad place. Or whenever it was, doesn't really matter. I was in a really low place in my life. I was, about to be. I was probably sick 4 weeks, 5 weeks out of taking a mental health absence from college. I was having trouble getting out of bed. I was depressed.
Wow.
My anxiety was through the roof. I was probably then I was I was definitely on some types of anti-anxiety medication for sure. But that scene was, and that those medications that they were given were to try and stop me from feeling anything. And that scene was so powerful. It connected somehow, was able to break through all those barriers that it reached me, but I wasn't ready to make a change yet. But what it did was it planted a seed. That movie, that scene planted a seed in me. And listen, I continue to struggle for the next few months and really for a lot of the next few years. But what it did was that seed was planted in me. And I think the same way seeds are planted, you were mentioning, is how it really got connected. I really brought it to me was that, when people make comments, it plants seeds in your head. People make a joke. They think it's funny. They make a comment.
Yeah, and you'll replay it. You'll replay it later.
To them,
you'll hear that voice.
Knockoff comment, like common thing. I do it with my friends. We know, like, people hear this. We do. We just go, I love you, bro. Like, I coming from a place of love, but but maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But they don't realize. A lot of times people don't realize the weight that such snide comments, such quick comments, such slight jokes can have on people. That for you said it and you forget it. You may not even ever remember it. But people take that stuff and it sits in them, and it really manifests. It's seed that's planted in their head, and it's ammo that can be used against them. It's so important to realize that. Even listen, some people you can joke around with your friends. Like, I don't want to ever say don't joke around. I love to joke around. I joke around probably too much, but it's very important. I realize it now, and I'm going to take a more conscious effort to use my words more carefully, because I should know better. As it's happened to me, that I should know that my words should have more weight. I should be more careful with words that I use and times that I use jokes, making sure that, that I'm really being careful and not. Yeah, I'm just having like a real flashback here. So important.
Yeah, but listen, don't be mad at yourself. That was the way that you thought. And if you're able to recognize that now, then give a clap for yourself. Like, pat yourself on the back. Realize how you've grown.
I want to celebrate.
And just
I want to see. I think this is where I
feel
think we differ in philosophy here. And I want to come to a place, and I want to see what you think here. I'll give myself around. The healthy thing to me, and I don't even do this, is when I do make the change, I just go, that's where I should have been. I should have been there always. It's not like all I've done is corrected a mistake. I haven't done anything special. What have I done? I've just, congratulations, you're not being a dick anymore.
Congratulations. You finally got hurt enough to the point where you realize that you're an asshole. Boom. Boom. And then you realize that it's terrible. You feel bad when you make asshole type comments. And you realize you're not an asshole. So good for you.
I realize I don't want to be an asshole.
Now go be the good person.
It's like you realize you don't want to be an asshole, then you try and take active steps to do it. Once you've done that, I don't believe that that's something to celebrate. I believe that's something that you've now corrected. But that's where you should have been always. You shouldn't.
But should have, according to who?
Yeah, according to standards I set.
Yeah, but you're yourself now. At the time, you didn't realize it was a problem, and if you did, you didn't know how to fix it. So what good does it do? What good does it do to be mad at yourself? Dave, listen, imagine you make a mistake. Imagine, who are you close with, by the way? Tell everyone who's listening. Who are you close with? Is it your brother? Is it your parents? Do you have a specific friend? Do you have a girlfriend?
I'm not going to single anyone out, just in terms of, I don't want anyone to think, oh, I didn't say their name, so they. I'm not trying to play.
So you think of them, okay?
Listen, I'm blessed. I have a lot. Yeah, I'm thinking of them.
Think of that person. That's all I'm saying. Think of them. So listen, you're thinking of that person. If your friend, has always been a certain way. If your friend is, they have a sweet tooth, and they love to eat donuts. They freaking love donuts. They love Sour Patch. They enjoy it the whole time. One day that they could get diabetes. That they wish, like, whenever they go to the beach, that they're insecure because they have man boobs, but you know what it's such an easy fix. Just cut out the donuts, dude. You don't even have to work out a lot. Just cut out the freaking donuts. Like, you don't even need it. Okay, 10 years later, they finally stop eating donuts. You're going to say, good job. Not like, all right, idiot, I'm happy you finally realized. What type of
No,
friend would you be? You're
you're
just going to be
absolutely
happy
right. The
for them.
question is, why would I? And I was thinking of this. Swear to God, 6 hours within the last 4 or 5 hours, 6 hours early today. I was thinking about this. Why are people? And I have to do better job not generalizing. Also, I'm going to take this personally. Why do I think people do this also, but why do I, if treat myself differently than the way I would treat some like a friend? Why would I?
Because we know both sides. We know what we've been through. We know what we want. We know what we think we want. And I'll give you one word: expectations.
I See, here's what's so crazy. I know what you're saying is right, and I know what I believe is wrong. But my default is still to go this way. And listen, I'm not saying I'm defeated. It's something that I've only come to a realization of it recently, and I've been trying to take active steps. But see how easily we came to this. Like, I still see it in myself. My default is to be that way. I would never, right. I would never say that exact example. I would say to myself, I would say, congratulations, you stopped eating donuts. Like, you didn't do anything. But to a friend, I would say that's awesome. Like, you took a step. Like, I believe that. And to my deep down, I believe that for them, but I don't hold myself to that standard.
You know what that means? And it's nothing to be sad about. Maybe you just don't respect yourself enough. Maybe you don't care enough.
But what if I
And
think
that's
it's
not
the
a problem.
opposite. I feel like
That's
maybe
not
I
a
respect
problem.
myself. I do respect myself. I hold myself to a higher standard.
I think we have to celebrate the steps. Why, like, we can't how are we just going to celebrate? That means we're taking ourselves for granted. You're taking yourself for granted. If if we give ourselves, there comes a point, you know it's right and wrong. You know it's right or wrong. You could not care that you're shoplifting. You could say it's just a pack of gum. It's $1.50. You know how much I've spent on gum in my life? I don't care. I'm just gonna take it. You could say that, but you know it's wrong. And then finally, there comes a point where you realize, I don't. I'm thinking differently. This isn't me. This is not what I do. This is not. I'm not proud of this. And you could not celebrate when you stop because, yeah, you were never supposed to do that. Like, how'd you even get on a bad path? But thank God that there came a point that you realized it. Thank God it didn't go to the next level. Thank God, like, celebrate that. Celebrate the opportunity. Celebrate the opportunity. Have respect for yourself. Like, you know how easy, you know where now that you've been to a certain point, you hit a new low. You give rude comments. You do things that you were raised not to do. You're becoming the people that you were raised to stay away from. You start realizing, I'm just a person. I'm just a person. All the stuff that I wanted, wow, I wanna be a doctor, I wanna be a lawyer, I wanna be an engineer, I wanna own a business someday. I wanna do this. Okay, whatever accolades you could do as a professional, like, the way that you think is because the community you come from. That's all stuff that you were lucky, you were given. But then you start realizing, I want to figure out who I am. I don't want to go on the timeline that everyone else goes. And I don't even care if that comes with having to sacrifice other things. I just want to figure out who I am. I don't I know a lot of people, and maybe you could relate, or I'm sure that you could relate because you know other people were raised with Orthodox Jewish backgrounds, kosher, keep Shabbos. Even some of them parents are rabbis, and then they don't keep the kids. They go through a period where they don't keep kosher, or they through a period where they're on their phone on Shabbat, or then getting cars on Shabbat, or go to sleep at a friend's house who doesn't keep Shabbos and they don't tell their parents, or stuff like that. We want to be our own people, so we'll even rebel. But really, at the end of the day, okay, we're doing something that we really weren't supposed to do. But then we start thinking, Well, what does that even mean? We're supposed to. What does that even mean? Right and wrong. Someone else made this up. What do I think? What do I believe? And then you start peeling back layers. You could go to a point where you feel numb about everything, where you don't even think about the stuff you're doing. It's just like what you do, or you look down on other people who do the things that you were raised to do. We could go to a lot of points, but if we're able, the moral compass in us, the intuition, at some point we know what's right and we know what's wrong, and however we end up, wherever we end up getting, no matter what we did, no matter how bad it was, we're just a person. You could do 9 out of 10. You could have amazing qualities. You could treat your parents with such respect. You open the door for people. You make people feel good. And then when you go to the mall, you take a t-shirt, you steal it. When you go this, you could do things that don't affect people, right? The company will never notice if the shirt's gone. But you do things that you know are wrong, and then later you grow from that. And then you realize, I'm just a person. How do I know that my parents didn't do the same thing growing up? Because I'm super embarrassed to say it, hypothetically. But if something like that, you don't know what people did. You don't know what people are going through. And that's where the whole subject of the conversation is. That's what the whole podcast is about, right? It's about mental health. It's about, and that's where I came from. That's how I began, being my own friend. I realized if I do something that's literally, it's horrifying. It's horrifying. How did I do that? I can't even relate to that person, the one who did that. That's crazy. How did I do that? But I remember in that time I was doing a million other amazing things that I admire. So if I see someone now and they are a robber or they're in a mugshot, like that person, I'm sure has a family that they're very sweet to. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure that they have other facets in their life where they excel and they're a great human being, but maybe majority of their life became something that's they're a harm to society or they're bad. but but we're all just people, and once we do certain things, if we learn to not judge ourselves, when we really feel sorry for the stuff that we've done, when we really forgive ourselves for the stuff that we've done, for things that other people have done to us, I believe that's when we really learn what empathy is. That's when we could start relating to people. That's when, look, I could have a very clear thought, and I could love the way that we're speaking right now. I could love this conversation. I could feel I'm peeling back. I'm just talking, and I'm not nervous. We're just talking, and it could be felt. But if 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 I it's empathy. I mean, I've been to a place. I'm not mad at the past. It's a part of life that I feel distant from, but I now know what a person's capable of. And not just me, because who am I? I'm someone who's done all these things. I don't know all the things that I will do. I don't know what's going to happen. I could be on a drive home, and God forbid, some idiot decides to jump in front of a car, and now I'm a killer. Do you know what I mean? Like anything could happen. Anything. My car could slid out. My whole family's lives could change. God forbid. Anything can happen. And I'm determined. I mean, it really, it doesn't take such an effort from me because I see no other way that I could view life because I've seen I've
Right.
seen miracles. I've seen miracles. I felt miracles, and I'm lucky. And I'm grateful for life. And when I look at myself, I see the mirror. You're David. I see the mirror. I see the mirror. I see someone who's capable. You know what my dad always told me? I can't surprise him. I could do something amazing, and he knows that his son is capable of that. And I could do something embarrassing, and it's just like, but he's not surprised either way.
It's interesting. I mean, I think everything you've just said is true. I agree with it. I'm interested in stuff I'm going to marinate on, I'm going to think about. But I'm interested in, I guess, shifting right now. And I want to hear, I guess, to summarize, for somebody who isn't already there, doesn't have a positive, version of themselves, or I guess, summarize, how does one go about, what are actions somebody can take today or to keep on to going on the path of becoming their own best friend, of being their friend?
I want to tell you something that's a real reason for why I am who I am. In synagogue, in shul, above where the Torahs are, there's, in Hebrew, it says, Dalifnei miata omed. And what that means is know before whom you're standing. That's always been at shul. That's part of the structure. Like that's, and at a lot of shuls, it says that. That's what it says. Dalifnei miata omed. And my whole life up until a certain point, I went to shul and I just kind of look at it, and I thought it meant like, understand that you're in synagogue right now. You dress a certain way. You don't speak when the service is going on. You hold yourself to a new standard because you're in God's house. A few years ago, while I'm on the path, pace rush, I'm an artist. I keep trying to like figure out like, who am I? Like what's my niche going to be? How do I go viral? How do I stand out? How do I make an impact? How do I make an impact? And there's a lot of times where it's so easy to have self-doubt. A lot of times that I just am trying to make a song that sounds good, and I'm just trying to like say a line to just make people say what, and like have to rewind it, and I might lose focus. I might hear something, and then after a year of not getting the feedback that I want, be doubting myself, and then thinking, if this is what I wanted the most in the world, and then now I don't even know if I could do this, then how will I be successful at anything? Or things like that. And one day in shul, I'm sitting there and it clicked. It was just like I had an epiphany. I was looking at Dalif Ne Miyatao Med, know before whom you're standing. And instead of just thinking it meant I'm in God's house, I realized the person I'm sitting next to is a servant of God. The person to my right, the person to my left, the rabbi, we all have a soul inside of us, our neshama, our soul, our spirit. I imagine it's like God's in heaven, and when a baby comes out, he like takes a piece of him, boom, he puts it into that baby's life. All of a sudden, a baby's head comes out of the mom, baby's crying, and boom, a life is on earth. That's a piece of God that he put here. And the only way that a person is no longer alive is when the soul, God forbid, leaves. That's when life is over. Our soul has the ability to do anything. That's literally a piece of God. Da lifnei miatao med. Know before whom you're standing. So when I am in synagogue, it's not just synagogue. It's not just the house of God. It's when I'm in the street, when I'm at Starbucks, if I'm near the Heat Stadium and I see a lot of homeless people on the street, if I'm at work and if I'm talking to you on the phone, if I'm on a podcast, if I'm recording music, if I'm talking to anybody, that's a piece of God. And you know what, David? When I look in the mirror, I see a piece of God. I see someone who believes that they're here for a purpose. How could I doubt God? How could I tell my friend that they are incapable of doing something? Maybe they're not working hard enough. Maybe their confidence is at a place where they don't believe that they could do something yet. But I am my own friend. I am such a fan of myself. I'm so appreciative of you, I'm so appreciative of anyone who's listening because we're souls connecting right now. We're pieces of God connecting. And no matter what anybody does with anything, with a piece of content, with a song, with a product, with anything that we use, with an iPhone, we're people. We're humans. But our soul, no matter what religion you are, there's one God. We might view him differently. There's not a million gods out there. There's one God, there's one creator. There's We're all here for a reason. We're all here for a
Yeah.
reason. And if we're seeing somebody who posts a podcast, we might not listen to the podcast, but just even knowing that our friend is brave enough, is willing enough, is whatever someone else is doing, it affects us in ways that we don't even realize. The fact that someone was brave enough to think that they could make futuristic cars and send things to outer space, boom, we have Elon Musk. Now we have other people who are thinking about different ways that they could help the world grow. Like, everyone affects people that they have never even met, and it doesn't have to be at such a magnitude. If I'm seeing a homeless person, maybe we could think, oh, that homeless person's insignificant. Oh, they must not know a lot of people, all that. But you know what? I see a homeless person and I feel a certain way. Maybe I'm compelled to give them $1, even if I only had $1 in my pocket. I'll give them everything I had because they served a purpose for the time being. That's a piece of God that helps us realize who we are. Maybe we don't feel like we should give them $1. Maybe we judge them. Maybe we say they're faking it. Maybe we say they're a drug addict. Maybe we say they're drunk. Maybe we feel a certain way, but no matter what it is, they're bringing about a purpose. They're giving us a memory we're going to hold on to. They're helping us in our human experience.
Yeah. So I hear that.
So know before whom we're standing. When we see ourselves, you ask me, how do we really be our own friend? And I say, how could I not?
Got it. That's fair. I see that. I hear that. I'm gonna think it over. I hope people that are listening are gonna. I know they're gonna think it over. I think that you brought a lot of interesting ideas, stuff that I'm for sure going to be thinking about for the next few days and definitely throughout the next couple weeks and throughout the rest
Thoughts
of my
come and
life.
go, man. I want you to feel it. I want you to feel it. I want you to realize you're special. You're very special, David. You're
It's not
very, very
about it's
special.
not
And
about me.
anything that you've
It's
been
not
through,
about me.
no, it
Not.
is.
It's
It
not.
is.
It's
It
not.
is. It is
It's
totally
not.
about you.
It's
You know
not.
why? Because you affect people. You affect people. Your parents
No,
love you. You don't live
Bennett.
for your
Bennett. I'm
parents,
not.
though.
I think you're misunderstanding me when I say it's not about me. I mean, in terms of this conversation, it's not. It is about my experiences.
What if somebody listening says it's not about them and everybody thought that way? We need to make it
Yeah,
about us. Life
everyone
is
who's
about
sitting at home should
us.
be able to is going to take something differently from this, which is beautiful. That's what it's about. That's what I'm trying to say. What I
Yeah.
want to now go transition to, on this podcast we have a recurring segment with guests, and that's every guest got to talk about one thing that they're currently worried about. So Bennett, what's one thing that you're currently worried about?
Hmm. Good question.
Doesn't that it can be big, it can be small. There's no worry that there's no judgment. It's just one thing that we're currently worried about. If you need some time, I can go. I can go for it.
No, no, no. What I'm worried about is sometimes I worry about my health, and I worry about health of people. I worry about health, not just mental health, about physical things. I sometimes the things we can't control and we know that we shouldn't worry about because we can't control them. That's like my only worry.
Interesting. Interesting. That's very interesting. So, in terms of worrying about other people, that's interesting. That's something that's you're worried about somebody else. That's pretty says a lot about you. One thing I'm currently worried about. I'm actually flying out to California for a very special friend's wedding. He's one of my
Oh,
yeah. I'm so excited.
congratulations! It's one of my favorite places in the
I've
world.
never been. I'm really excited. Unfortunately, with COVID-19, everything's really shut down. So I wanted to get my. I thought I had coronavirus earlier, like about a month and a half ago. I thought I'd had it. I had all the symptoms, but I just took an antibodies test the other day. Just got my results back. Turns out they're negative. So I'm worried.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so it's like I thought it was a good thing. I'm not sure if it's a good thing. I kind of wish I had the antibodies because I'm gonna be getting on a plane. But I'm really excited. I'm really looking forward. I'm worried about it, but I'm getting over that worry. I'm not that worried about it anymore because being completely honest, as long as if I get coronavirus, I don't give it to anybody else. Like I'll take it to like go and celebrate with my friend, like an unbelievable guy, and like the girl he's marrying, like they're unbelievable together. Like I'm so ecstatic, and I can't wait to celebrate. But I'm worried, like I don't want to get coronavirus because I don't want to get sick, and I don't want to, God forbid, anything happen to me. But I don't want to get sick and give it to anybody else. So I'm a little worried about it, but I'm not that worried about it anymore. So Bennett, as we're wrapping up, where can people find? You talked a bit about your music, but if people like me, like I'm now that I want to go check out your music, where can I find you?
Oh, thanks, man. Pace Rush. That's my name. Pace. Like life is a rush. Pace it.
Life is a rush. Pace it.
Pacer. And the thing that I'm really proud about and something that's going on is for a full year, I put out music every single day of the year, 365 days in a row, from the last day of 2017 till the first day of 2019. Woo! Every single day, I made and put out a brand new song. And I'm waiting to hear back from Guinness World Records because I'm pretty sure that's a Guinness World Record.
Wow. Every day.
Yeah.
So if people are like me and that we want to find you, where can we find your music?
Anywhere you listen to music. Spotify, Apple Music, SoundCloud, Amazon, Pandora, anywhere. Tidal. Just type in Pace Rush. Pacerush.
Okay.
I'm your friend, Pace Rush.
Got it. I'm going to go check out your music. I hope you guys all will who are listening. Check out Bennett's music. Give Pace Rush a shot. I'm sure if it's for you, I'm sure you're going to love it.
Yeah. There's over 400 songs out. There has to be something that you like. Just give it a listen. And that's it. Tell me if I suck. And if anything's good, let me know. It'll make me feel really good. I make music all the time, and I do it for us. I do it
awesome.
for us.
I'm going to work on getting the link to your Spotify. I'll find you on Spotify. I'll link that in the description below on this podcast. Bennett, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast.
David, I appreciate you. And again, I'm so proud of you. Keep following your heart. Keep doing what you believe you should be doing, and you'll never go wrong. I want to bring up one more thing before we go.
Go ahead.
Can I?
Platform's yours.
Okay. I love that. People a lot of times might think, hey, what the hell do I know about mental health? How am I on this podcast? What gives me the right? People might think, what makes me able to make a song? People might think, we might second guess ourselves, and that's totally fine, and it's totally normal. But just realize, the people that make it to the professionals, the people that are the top dog lawyers, the people that do well in school, the people that are the captains of the sports team at recess, those are just people who believe that they could. So just remember, whatever you're doing, you'll go as far as you believe. And that's exactly what we were talking about with the mirrors. At certain times, we'll see things. At certain times, we'll see other things. Sometimes it's just because we believe that the pants we're wearing are awesome, so we're walking with a pep in our step. We just got new shoes, so we're definitely excited to go out. But our whole body still looks the same. We just like our shoes, so now our whole brain's different. Just as long as we believe, why not me? Why not you?
All right. I love it.
Why not you? We could do it. We can do it. Life's a rush. Pace it. David, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to hear this, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you again.
Thanks so much, Bennett. Thank you, Bennett, for coming onto the podcast and being so open and vulnerable. I really appreciated your ability to break down and really, really connect and share with the audience. I know becoming my own friend is something that I struggle with, but I know now there's some ways to really work on it. I'm going to hopefully take those actions. Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. If you haven't listened to the previous ones, go back and check them out. If you're interested in coming onto the podcast, I'd love to get in touch with you and hear what you have to say and have you onto the podcast. There's nothing too small, nothing too big for this podcast. Your story matters. It can help you can help other people who are struggling themselves. If anyone's interested in coming on, you can reach me through my Facebook at David Izzo, IZSO, or through my email, which is dizso31@gmail.com. I'm working on setting up an email and some social media pages for people to reach out to me in a better way to connect with the audience. I'm really new at this still. I'm still figuring this out, so I appreciate your patience. And just want to say once again, thank you guys so much for listening. If I could ask one thing, subscribe to the podcast. If you're interested, leave a review. And honestly, if there's one person out there that you think in your life would benefit from this podcast, maybe share it with them or don't. It's up to you. Thank you guys so much for listening.